Over 50? Your body is changing, but that doesn't mean you need to slow down. In fact, just 3 simple movements can keep you strong, agile, and independent for years. No gym, no equipment, no long workouts, just results. Let's go. These exercises can literally change the way you age. We start with the foundation, the squat. It's non-negotiable if you want legs that will support you with strength and confidence for years to come. The squat targets your quads, glutes, and abs. It keeps you agile, balanced, and stable when walking, and that's crucial because after 50, muscle loss can sneak in quietly, bringing falls, fatigue, and that "I'm getting old" feeling. Squats fight all of that. Bonus: doing squats sends a signal to your body to release more hormones related to effort adaptation, which helps burn fat, preserve muscle, and speed up recovery. Not bad for such a simple exercise. Here's how to do it. Stand with your feet shoulder-width apart. Push your hips back as if sitting into a chair, keep your chest up and abs tight, rise by pushing through your heels, and make sure your knees stay aligned with your feet. Start with 10 reps a day. You'll see progress quickly, and your legs will thank you. From here, let's build on what science and practice show to be most effective for those over 50. Loss of lower body strength is the first trigger for losing independence. Long-term studies with older adults show that regular squat training and sit-to-stand movements reduce fall risk and improve walking speed, as well as both static and dynamic balance. Guidelines from the American College of Sports Medicine recommend 2 to 3 strength training sessions per week for all ages, and emphasize that multi-joint movements like squats have the greatest carryover to everyday life. On a hormonal level, well-executed sessions produce acute anabolic signaling responses that help maintain lean mass, especially when combined with quality sleep and adequate protein. For healthy knees, adjust your posture using 3 simple cues. Distribute your weight across the foot tripod, base of the big toe, base of the little toe, and heel. Keep your knee pointing in the same direction as your second or third toe, and lower only as far as you can with control and no pain. If your ankles are stiff, bring your feet slightly closer and allow for a slight forward lean while maintaining a neutral spine. If your hips feel tight, perform 2 sets of 20 seconds of hip mobility drills before starting. Breathing is part of good technique. Inhale through the nose, brace your core to create tension, and exhale during the effort as you stand up. A tight core protects the lower back and improves force transfer. For those restarting after time off, the chair sit-to-stand variation is perfect. Sit down slowly until you touch the chair, then stand up by pushing through your feet. Once you can complete 3 sets of 10 reps with good form, remove the chair or lower its height. Another effective progression is the pause squat. Lower over 3 seconds, hold at the bottom for 1 second, and rise with intent. This increases time under tension and improves control without needing external weight. Front knee pain often improves when you initiate the movement by shifting your hips back and thinking about gently pushing your knees outward as if ripping the floor apart. Lower back pain tends to decrease with proper breathing, core engagement, and initially using a slightly smaller range of motion. Avoid holding your breath too long and don't relax your back at the bottom of the squat. At home, you can build a very effective mini routine. After a brief warm-up with marching in place and ankle mobility work, perform 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 squats, rest 60 to 90 seconds between sets, and finish with a 5-minute brisk walk. Within 2 weeks, most people report climbing stairs with less effort and getting up from the couch more easily. Bone density also benefits. Geriatric reviews show that light impact and lower body strength exercises help maintain bone mass in the femur and spine, a key factor in preventing fractures. Combine your training with simple and effective nutrition. Spread lean protein intake throughout the day in 4 meals, aiming for between 1.2 and 1.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. Include foods rich in calcium, vitamin D, and magnesium to support both muscle and bone health. Stay consistently hydrated and get at least 7 hours of sleep at regular times. To accelerate results, follow a practical weekly progression. In week 1, do 3 training days with 3 sets of 10 repetitions. In week 2, keep the 3 days and move up to 4 sets of 10. In week 3, increase to 12 reps per set. In week 4, Maintain 12 reps and add a 1-second pause at the bottom of each squat. If the movement feels comfortable, introduce variations such as low jump squats for power, only if there's no joint pain, or wall sits, isometric squats, holding for 20 to 45 seconds. After each session, note in a notebook how your energy felt, how many reps you did, and which variation you used. This simple tracking method builds consistency and helps prevent volume spikes that can irritate the joints. Now that your legs are taken care of, let's focus on your spine and posture. The next exercise is the glute bridge, your secret weapon for a stronger lower back, stable hips, and better posture. Why is it so powerful? Because this movement targets your glutes and hamstrings, muscles that tend to weaken when we spend too much time sitting, and let's be honest, that happens a lot. Weak glutes lead to back pain, stiff hips, and worsened balance. Glute bridges reverse that pattern. They also help protect the spine and improve how you move, whether you're walking, climbing stairs, or simply getting out of bed with ease. Here's how to do it. Lie on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. From here, fine-tune some key details that make all the difference. Bring your heels close enough so that your shins are nearly vertical at the top of the movement. Keep your feet hip-width apart and distribute weight through the tripod of your foot, base of the big toe, base of the pinky toe, and heel. Before lifting, perform a slight posterior pelvic tilt and engage your core as if drawing your ribs and hips toward each other. This prevents lumbar arching and keeps the work in the glutes. Push through your heels and lift your hips until your body forms a line from knees to shoulders. Hold at the top for 1 to 2 seconds, squeezing your glutes, and lower slowly, feeling every centimeter. Perform 3 to 4 sets of 12 to 20 repetitions for an excellent stimulus, especially for those over 50. If your hamstrings start to cramp or feel overly tight, move your feet slightly farther from your hips and slow down the lift. If you're barely feeling your glutes working, think about gently pressing your knees outward as if trying to widen the floor and keep your weight in your heels. Once this technique feels solid, progress to variations that increase the challenge without needing equipment. Marching at the top, alternating support from one foot at a time, improves stability. Elevating your feet on a step increases range of motion and recruits more muscle fibers. Placing your shoulder blades on a couch and turning the movement into a hip thrust increases leverage and torque. The single leg variation is a powerful progression that corrects imbalances and strengthens the gluteus medius, which stabilizes the pelvis during walking. If you experience knee discomfort, prioritize a comfortable angle. Keep your shin more vertical and avoid letting your knees cave inward. For those with a sensitive lower back, emphasize the posterior pelvic tilt at the start of the movement. Keep your ribs down and imagine pushing the floor away from you. Breathe in a controlled way. Inhale as you lower and exhale as you contract at the top. Exercise science evidence reports high activation of the gluteus maximus during well-executed glute bridges and links strengthening of the glute complex to reduced lower back pain and improved posture. Guidelines from the American College of Sports Medicine reinforce that strength training for major muscle groups 2 to 3 times per week improves function and independence in older adults. A running-specific training review notes that stronger glutes reduce energy expenditure and improve pelvic stability. In practice, this means climbing stairs with less effort, walking longer distances with less pain, and standing up from chairs more easily. Avoid common mistakes that sabotage your results. Pushing too much through the balls of your feet takes the load off the glutes and overstresses the hamstrings. Hyperextending the lower back at the top gives a false sense of range and can irritate the spine. Over-widening the feet or letting them rotate outward reduces force transfer. Fix this by recording one set from the side and another from the front. Then adjust your foot placement and pelvis until you see a smooth line from knee to shoulder at the top of the movement. Squeeze your glutes and lift your thighs toward the ceiling, holding the position for 1 second before lowering slowly. Keep your core engaged and avoid arching your lower back. Start with 8 to 10 repetitions. It's a simple, fluid, and highly effective exercise. To get the most out of it, fine-tune the details that make a difference. Position your feet hip-width apart and press more through your heels than the balls of your feet. Perform a slight posterior pelvic tilt before lifting so your lower back doesn't take over the work meant for your glutes. At the top, hold the contraction for 1 to 2 seconds, then lower slowly as if trying to set your hips down silently. Progress by increasing reps up to 20 per set or by adding isometric time at the top. Once you can perform the movement easily, progress to the single leg version while keeping your pelvis level. If you experience hamstring cramps, move your feet slightly farther from your hips or slow the tempo to realign the glute activation path. Last but not least, we have the bench dips, a hidden gem for strengthening the upper body, especially after 50. Dips strongly activate the triceps, shoulders, and chest, muscle groups that tend to lose power over time. This decline often shows up in everyday tasks, such as lifting grocery bags, pushing doors, or getting up from a chair. To perform the movement, sit at the edge of a sturdy bench and place your hands next to your hips with your fingers facing forward. Keep your shoulders away from your ears, chest open, and your shoulder blades slightly depressed and retracted to create a stable base. Slide your hips off the bench, keeping your knees bent at first to reduce the load. Lower yourself by bending your elbows straight back along your torso until your arms are nearly parallel to the floor, without letting your shoulders collapse forward. Push through your hands to straighten your elbows and return to the start. Think about pressing the bench down and away from your body to truly engage your triceps and protect the joint. Perform 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 15 reps, resting 60 to 90 seconds between them. As it becomes easier, straighten your legs to increase the leverage. Then elevate your feet on a step, and finally place a second bench in front for the full bench-to-bench dip variation, which increases the range of motion while maintaining control. The ideal tempo includes a 2 to 3 second descent, a brief pause at the bottom, and a strong, controlled push back up. Avoid common mistakes such as lowering excessively beyond the point where your arms move past your torso line. This puts stress on the front of the shoulder. Don't let your elbows flare too far out or your head jut forward. If you have a history of shoulder discomfort, use a shorter range of motion and focus on keeping your shoulders down and back throughout the movement. Another joint-friendly alternative is to replace dips with close-grip push-ups, which still emphasize the triceps while requiring less shoulder extension. For sensitive wrists, use low parallel bars or dumbbells on the floor to maintain a neutral wrist position. Electromyography studies show high triceps activation during dips, and strength training guidelines for older adults confirm that improving upper body pushing strength enhances functional performance in tasks like getting up from the floor and carrying light loads. Incorporate bench dips alongside squats and glute bridges in a simple 3-day-per-week microcycle, alternating the focus. On one day, work on technique and control with slow tempo and pauses. On the second day, focus on volume within the suggested rep ranges. On the third day, introduce slightly more challenging variations while maintaining perfect form. Track your reps, perceived exertion, and the variation used to ensure gradual progression. If fatigue becomes too high, reduce one set or increase rest between sets. End your sessions with thoracic mobility drills and a light chest stretch for 30 to 60 seconds. This improves scapular mechanics and creates a better sense of shoulder space. With strong glutes and responsive triceps, you stabilize your pelvis, protect your lower back, and regain practical strength for pushing, lifting, and supporting your own body. This simple combination delivers significant gains in autonomy and quality of life within a few weeks, when technique, sleep, and nutrition work in sync. Bench dips help reverse the decline in upper body strength. And the best part is that strengthening your arms also improves posture and reduces the risk of shoulder issues, something very common as we age. To perform the movement correctly, sit on a sturdy bench or chair and place your hands beside your hips with your fingers pointing forward. Slide your hips off the edge, bend your elbows, and lower your body slowly and with control. Then push firmly to return to the starting position. Start with 8 to 10 repetitions. If it's too difficult at first, keep your knees bent to reduce leverage and make the movement easier. You'll feel the difference quickly. If your wrists are sensitive, use low parallel bars or 2 dumbbells on the floor to maintain a neutral wrist position. If your shoulders are sensitive, reduce the range of motion slightly and focus on proper preparation with scapular movements and elastic band external rotations. Common mistakes that sabotage results include lowering too far until the shoulder rolls forward, elbows flaring out, the head jutting forward, and the hips drifting too far from the bench. Fix these by keeping your torso close to the bench and imagining lengthening the crown of your head away from your body while keeping the chest open. Breathe rhythmically. Inhale on the way down and exhale as you push up. This stabilizes the trunk and improves force transfer. Once you can perform 15 reps without losing form, adopt a slow tempo with 2 to 3 seconds on the descent and a brief pause at the bottom to increase time under tension. For those struggling with kyphotic posture, a common result of prolonged sitting, strengthening the triceps and chest with proper technique, along with light scapular retraction work, improves shoulder positioning and reduces neck tension. In real life, this translates to pushing doors with ease, lifting grocery bags without discomfort, and standing up from a chair with better control. Widely accepted training guidelines for older adults emphasize that pushing and pulling movements spread throughout the week improve functional capacity and independence. Electromyography evidence confirms high triceps activation during well-executed dips, which explains the efficiency of this exercise for regaining arm mass and strength that naturally decline with age. Fuel your progress with habits that support results. Distribute protein intake throughout the day in the range of 1.2 to 1.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. Prioritize lean meats, eggs, low-fat dairy, legumes, and combinations of grains and seeds. Stay consistently hydrated, sleep at least 7 hours with regular bedtime hours, and walk daily for 15 to 30 minutes to improve circulation and recovery speed. If you experience shoulder discomfort that doesn't improve with adjustments, temporarily switch to close grip push-ups or resistance band triceps extensions. Both maintain focus on the triceps with less shoulder extension required. Return to bench dips once your technique is solid and the joint is properly prepared. To wrap up with a simple plan you can start today, warm up with 1 minute of shoulder mobility, perform 3 sets of 10 bodyweight squats, do 3 sets of 8 to 12 bench dips with knees bent, finish with 3 sets of 12 to 15 glute bridges, track your reps and perceived effort, and in your next session, aim to add 2 total reps across all sets. Consistency, proper technique, and small weekly progressions form the foundation that keeps you strong, agile, and independent. If you're over 50, don't wait. Just 3 powerful movements, no excuses. Your body is ready, and it's time to take action.